Hi everybody, how you doing? Um, Sorry I haven't made a video in a while. I'm gonna get better at this. I apologize right away for my craptastic webcam right now. I have recently moved to Hawaii and I really enjoy it, and I didn't get to set up my desktop yet, so I don't have a good webcam, I don't have a good microphone, so I'm using my headphones right now, and I hope the sound quality is alright. Um, and I just wanted to fill you in, on what's going on with my life and where I'm at, and why I haven't videoed in a while is it took me some time to decide what exactly I wanted to do. And after seeing my channel start to grow a little bit, I mean, I've only got 12 subscribers, but I want that to grow because I enjoy the idea that people enjoy my content. So I'm going to make some more. And now I have to decide what to make it on. So right now I am going to tell you about the pros and cons of living in Honolulu. So here we go. This is in no order because I'm just impromptu making this video. That's the way I like to do things. I like to get on, I like to ramble, I like to talk, blah, 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 blah. And, but it took me a while to get this all together. So what I did at first was I decided, hey, I'm going to move to Hawaii. My wife wants to move here as well, and she's in Las Vegas right now, finishing some things up, getting um, the furniture and all the other stuff ready to be like sold to other people, because we're not going to ship anything because it costs way too much to ship stuff to Hawaii, which is con number one, getting your crap to Hawaii. And let me tell you something, unless you have a lot of money and you can afford to purchase a shipping container, that can cost you anywhere between like $3,000 to $10,000. So unless you have a lot of expensive stuff, lots of furniture, lots of other things, it's just cheaper to buy everything once you get here and ship the small stuff that you can't replace. Things like, pictures that you have in frames that you don't have digitally, but I suggest you just back those up digitally and you can print them out later on, or whatever at the photo place. Um, and other things that mean something to you, perhaps gifts from family, loved ones, friends, things like that, that can't be replaced. Like, hey, I got this from grandma, she's no longer with us, I need to keep this. So, and the cheapest way to do that, I've found, is to get all the smallest, lightest things, pack them in a suitcase. Get one of those hard shell suitcases like I got that I packed my stuff in, because if it's 50 pounds or less, it only costs you like, 35 bucks or so, 35 bucks to put it on the plane. And then every other check bag after that costs you some much, but it's way cheaper than mailing it, because my wife is mailing boxes and they're anywhere from $80 to $100 just for a small box, like, this big, as big as this screen, I guess, would look to you as far as a box if it filled up my face. So like a 2x2 box, 2x2 is going to cost you about 80 bucks unless it's very heavy. The things you don't want to try and ship are heavy items. Don't try and ship like your pots and pans. Don't try and ship, your computer if it's a desktop computer. What I did was I took the thing apart and then I wrapped everything up. And I would suggest bubble wrap if you're going to be putting it into a suitcase, because they do not treat your luggage very well when you load things on the airplane. They're just tossing it. So if you're going to pack anything delicate inside your suitcase, definitely make sure that you pat it a lot so it doesn't bang against the edge of the suitcase. What I did was I rolled up a bunch of shirts and I put my stuff on top of that, which was also rolled up in some other clothing because I didn't have bubble wrap. And then, just inside the clothes, so when it bounces, it didn't hurt it at all. And I had to take the computer components completely apart because I didn't want anything bouncing around, which is why I didn't pack the case on its own inside the suitcase. Um, and then once you ship all your stuff, if first off you need an address, so it helps to have all your stuff ready to ship, or maybe have somebody there, whatever town you're coming from, shipping it, because you're going to need an address to ship stuff to, and it's going to take like a week or so for it to get there, so don't expect it to get there right away. So the only stuff you're going to have is in your suitcases. All right. Make sure you have some money before you go, obviously, because it's expensive to live here. The cost of living is a lot higher. food costs anywhere between 50 to 100% more than what you're paying on the mainland, even if you're in California. Trust me, the food is the most expensive part of living here. For temporary housing, when you get here, I suggest Airbnb. We got a condo at Airbnb for like $75 or $80 a night, and that beats a hotel hands down, like a third of the cost. And sometimes you can find deals. There was one that we missed, which was $50 a night, which would have been amazing. So we came up here, we spent a week while I looked for a room for rent, and we had a little vacation. It was pretty nice. We walked on Waikiki. Our room was in Waikiki. It was awfully nice. You just walk out of the room, go down to the beach, and it was right there. It was awesome. Um, so have some money. Get ready to ship your stuff. By have some money, I mean if you're going to be moving into a place, expect no less than $2,000 for first month's and security deposit for a studio. And these are cheap studios. Studio apartments here run anywhere between like $800-900 a month, all the way up to $1,500 to $2,000 a month, depending on where you are in town and the quality of the studio, quality of the neighborhood, that kind of thing. The one I'm looking at getting right now is in Waikiki, and it's literally 2 blocks from the beach. So nice. It's probably going to be noisy, but it'll be all right. But it's $1,200 a month, and it's a 2 bedroom actually, or a 1 bedroom. I'm sorry, 1 bedroom. Just got remodeled. The kitchen's kind of narrow, so it's only a one-person kitchen because they have this weird wall right there, which doesn't need to be there. But anyway, it's $1,200 a month, so it's going to cost us $2,400 to move in if we get approved. When my credit is garbage, so I don't know if that's going to work. So anyway, 2 grand at least minimum to move in. I would say 3 grand. Save that money. Save your money. $3,000. Second tip: fly in the spring or in the fall. Those are the cheapest times. All right. I got my one-way ticket out of LA for $140. Of course, I had to pay for my luggage, which is another $35 because it's carry-on, and you're paying for economy. If you can afford it, let me tell you something. It's a 6-hour flight from LA. Get yourself a better than economy seat if you can afford it. If you're going to spend a couple extra $100 for some leg room, do it, because let me tell you that the seat in front of you is like this far away. Seriously, and your seat will tip back this much. That's about it. It's kind of sucky. It's very uncomfortable for 6 hours. When you first sit down, it's gonna be like, it's okay. After 2 or 3 hours, you're like, holy crap, I have to get up and walk around. So definitely, if you can afford it, buy a better seat. I mean, it's only one way. If you're not coming back, you might as well splurge on it. If you can afford first class, fly first class. Trust me. Being able to tip your seat back all the way, lean back, kick it back with your feet, that's worth so much for your trip. Because let me tell you, 6 hours. If you ever spent like 6 hours on a flight in economy or more, or maybe spend time on a Greyhound bus, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right. As far as the money is concerned, $3,000 is just for moving in. Have at least another $1,000 for your food and other expenses you're going to have when you get here. So I would say a good safety net for coming here, and which I didn't have because I'm impulsive and stupid, is to have at least $5,000 above and beyond your moving costs, like your plane ticket, your luggage, shipping things, and so on. Because if you have a job lined up, which is my next tip, go to Indeed, put your resume out there, make sure you have a cover letter that says, hey, I'm not in Hawaii yet, but I'm coming. This is the date that I'm coming because this is the date that I have my flight on, and start looking for jobs. Most of them don't want to talk to you unless you're actually here, but some of them will. Some of them that are looking to fill a position pretty soon. Myself, I got a job at HPU. I'm going to be a baker, Hawaii Pacific University. I'm already a baker. What am I saying? And they hired me over the internet. I did phone interviews and all that, and so I had a job waiting for me when I got here, and which was really nice. And then you can use that offer letter that they give you if you haven't started working yet to try and secure a place to live. Once you have your job set up, you have your plane ticket, You have your luggage and everything all set up to go if you're going by yourself. If you're going as a couple, I suggest one person move out here first, the other person stay home and deal with everything that's at home, your furniture and all that other stuff. You could do it at the same time if you wanted to, but it helps to have one person get set up while the other person is still on the mainland working, wherever you're from. That way income is still coming in. All right? So one person come out first, get established, find a place to rent, and get a job, and the other person stays at home. And if you have kids, of course, this complicates everything. So the person that stays back definitely wants to keep the kids because it's already stable there. And then they can work on getting the furniture and stuff. Now, if you can't sell all your furniture, if you don't know people to bring it to, maybe you can have an estate sale if you've got some good quality stuff. The other option to go with, which we're going with, is we're going to give away everything to charity. So Habitat for Humanity, they will come and pick up your furniture and other household items, but not like your dishes and your pots and pans and your clothes and things like that. For that, you're going to have to take those things to Goodwill. And there's also a couple other places that will also come to your home, I believe, and pick it up. But you can contact Habitat for Humanity, and they will give you all that information. I got an email from them saying who else I could go with, and I forwarded that on to my wife, and she's dealing with it. So once you have that all set up, and the first person comes out, if there's a first person, or you come out, the first thing you want to do is get yourself a bed and breakfast, or get yourself an Airbnb, because you're not going to have a place to live from the start, and just for like a week, just for a week, and then you search for a room for rent, because the other person's not out yet. You find somebody that will let you go, not with a lease, because a lot of people here want a lease, and you let yourself go for, if you can do month to month, do month to month. That's great. I'm paying $775 a month for my room, but hopefully on the first, well, definitely on the first, I'm going to be moving into another place with my wife, so I won't be having this room anymore. And then while you're in that room, you look for your apartment. Let me tell you right up front, most places here go only with credit score. Okay? So if your credit is shot, even if you have good rental history, which I do, my credit's shot. I have crap. Let me just tell you that right now. If they only go with credit and then they kick your application out, with the system as soon as your credit score is not above a certain point, then there's no use. So you need to talk to the people, talk to the agents, and say, hey, do you only look at credit score, or does it kick it out? Because I have crap credit. And if that's the case, then don't even bother with the application fee. Don't even bother with it at all. You're going to want to find owners who are renting places out, or companies that also look at your rental history. I believe the place I'm going with, which is called Locations, they look at more than just your credit, which is smart because, poor people, people on a shoestring budget that work from, that live from paycheck to paycheck. Usually, as far as I'm concerned, I pay my rent first. Because if you don't have a place to live, nothing else matters. I don't want to be one of these homeless people that are in Hawaii or anywhere else. Then I pay my utilities, because there's no point in spending money on food if you don't have electricity to keep your food cold in the fridge. So rent first, utilities, then food. That's the next most important thing. And then your vehicle, if you have a vehicle, which you don't need in Hawaii. That's my next thing. Especially on Oahu, where I'm at. Then you can buy extra stuff, clothes, and go to the movies, and buy video games, and whatever the heck else you want to do. Alright, so pros and cons of living here. I've only been here a couple of weeks. I've been here since December 3rd. It is now December 24th. So I've been here like 3 weeks. And let me tell you something. I live on Oahu. I'm in Honolulu, renting a room near Waikiki. The pros, of course, are you're living in Hawaii. It is literally the most beautiful place I've ever seen, except for the city, obviously, because it's a city. Cities aren't beautiful for the most part. It's just a bunch of buildings and concrete and everything. But you have the beach, and then if you look behind you, you have the mountains, which, unlike Las Vegas, which are big piles of dirt, they're covered with trees, and they're beautiful, and there's always these clouds coming over the top of them, and it's misty, and it's gorgeous. And none of the plant life here is like artificial or has to be planted and maintained by people. It's tropical paradise, you know. And we went to Hanama Bay and was going to go snorkeling, but we ended up just staying on the beach because the wind was too powerful and choppy water. But anyway, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous there. It's beautiful everywhere. Unlike Las Vegas, I can enjoy being outside. And this video is getting long, but I have a lot to talk about. So, the people here, like in Southern California or in Southern Florida, which I also lived as well, are everybody's in vacation mode, so nobody's really in a hurry to get anywhere. So, and there's a more of an aloha attitude for everybody here. It's like, yeah, 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 cut in front of me, or yeah, oh, I'm sorry, you go first. You know, it's very casual, very vacation-like mindset, which I really enjoy. People are more open and welcoming, so that's another plus. The plus, obviously, is the beach is right there. No matter where you are, you're always within a good distance from the beach, be it a bus ride, an Uber, a Lyft, walking, taking a bike. They have bike rentals here, and let me tell you something. Their bus system here, second to none. They've won awards, and I know why. They have so many routes, so many routes. You can get practically anywhere on this island in a couple hours. I can go from Honolulu to the North Shore. I can go all the way around, almost all the way around the island. There's a few roads that don't go to the far northwest, but um, anywhere you want to get in this town, you just hop on the bus. So I just have $70 a month for a bus pass, and I can go anywhere I want, literally. You know, if bus 13 doesn't go where I need to, I'll just hop on bus 2. You know, if bus 2 doesn't go where I want to, I'll just hop on bus 53 or whatever. And Google Maps is completely integrated with it, so it's amazing. You can do, I want to go here, let me get directions, let me do bus, and it gives you suggestions of the different buses that may or may not go in that may go in that direction close enough to where you're going. And you just select one, and there's bus stops everywhere. And let me tell you, I rented a car and drove in this town. You don't want to do it. You will be frustrated because, especially if you're coming from a town that has people that drive faster or are more aggressive. This is an older town, and it's an island, so they only have so much space. So they can't have very wide roads. So even some of the highways are only single lane each way. All right, so it's going to get backed up a lot. So take the bus, let somebody else do the driving and get the aggravation. Chill, read a book, play on your phone, whatever. The bus seats aren't the most comfortable things in the world to sit on. I have a bony butt, so I need cushion. But still, let somebody else do the driving for you, and you just sit back, relax, enjoy your trip. The people on the bus aren't trash. They're not. You're not going to get on the bus and worry about somebody robbing you. It's mostly vacationers and people that live there, and I haven't felt in danger in any way, shape, or form, no matter what time of the day I take the bus or what time of the day I walk around. So I feel pretty safe. And the streets are very clean as far as I'm concerned, as far as the city is concerned. Yes, there's a homeless problem here. Let me tell you that right now, especially when you get near downtown and other places. You will see lots of homeless because it's expensive to live there, and I think people just gave up. So, but if you can just ignore the homeless and go, yay, more power to you for living without a house, because you know how much they cost, then just don't get too close to them because they stink. It's a cool little coffee cup my wife got me. It's when the heat gets to this part, the eyes open up more, and he looks like, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy now that I'm living here in Las Vegas. Even though this craptastic bed that I'm sleeping on and this craptastic chair I'm sitting in hurts my back to walk around too much, I'm eventually going to fix that. I just went to Mattress Firm, got myself a bed on payments because they don't ship mattresses here unless they're stuck in a box. Let me tell you that right now. So if you find a better deal on the mainland, that's too bad because they won't ship a mattress here unless it's compressed in a box. But Mattress Firm, I guess, they're Sealy and another brand actually are manufactured here in Hawaii, and so they can have them in their stores. At least that's what the salesman told me. He could be full of crap. He could have been lying, but That's the truth. A lot of things, really heavy, big things, aren't shipped to Hawaii. They have to be built here. So, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, pros and cons. So another con. I did the pro. It's beautiful living here and all that. Here's your con. It's expensive. The food is pricey. The average eat-out price, dining out, is going to cost you $10 to $15 per meal. All right, just so you know that. Shopping in a store for things like bread, milk, eggs, so on. The average loaf of bread, even the cheap stuff that you get at like Safeway, is like $4 a loaf. So you're looking at a loaf of bread anywhere between, I'd say, 3.50 to like $8 a loaf, um, depending on the quality of it that you're gonna get. But and then eggs and milk and all that is going to cost you even more. I can't remember what I spent on some of my stuff. Produce is a bit cheaper because they can grow a lot of stuff on Hawaii because it's tropical. Um, but other things that they have to ship in is kind of expensive. They have two Walmarts here that I go to. There's one near Ala Moana Shopping Center, which if you ever been to a mall, this is one of the biggest malls in the world, and holy crud, it's huge. It's got like 4 levels, and it's big. You know, it's like 5 city blocks. It's big. I was just there actually, um, just future shopping because they have a Williams Sonoma there, and we want to get really good cookware because we made a deal, the wife and I, that now that we're moving to Hawaii and we have to buy all of our stuff again, we are not going to buy cheap crap ever again. We're not going to have our cupboards looking like the Salvation Army thrift store, where it's just like we have 3 bowls that are blue and 2 plates that are yellow, and just a whole bunch of weird cups and stuff everywhere. No, we're going to get quality, so we'll get our cookware from Williams Sonoma. And I was just looking around, and there were so many people there. So many people. It was like New York subway. I'm telling you, it was freaking packed. Even though I've never been to New York, I've seen videos of the New York subway. So yeah, that the shop, it was just wall to wall people bouncing into each other. It was crazy. It was crazy. But I wasn't there to shop, which was nice, which means I didn't have to get into lines or anything. I was just there to look. And you never want to go actually shopping a couple days before Christmas. What is wrong with you people who do that? If you know you're going to buy presents for somebody, buy them sooner. Really? Really? You could look all year, for people like, hey, I'm going to get that for so and so for Christmas, and just put it away somewhere. Don't shop the last couple days. What's wrong with you? It's like the weird people that shop on Black Friday. I don't care what the deal is. I am not fighting a crowd to get a big screen TV or whatever. It's just idiotic. I don't care if I don't save any money. All right, so kind of a pro con. If you are a Caucasian, remember, if you come to Hawaii, you will go from being a majority in the States to a minority here. This is mostly Asians, a majority like Japanese and Chinese and Korean and people from like Philippines and so on, and native islanders from around here, from Hawaii, Samoa, Tahiti, and so on. White people only make up about 20 some odd percent of the population here. So it's a different culture when you come here. Just remember that. So you're not going to be in the majority anymore. You just have to understand that and accept that. And if you go to the other islands, like Oahu is very metropolitan, it's very cosmopolitan. But if you go to the other islands, they don't like the haoles. From what I heard, I haven't been to them yet. Haoles are white people. Hello. Actually, they anybody that's not a native islander, they kind of call a haole. But I think it's getting lost in the. I don't know. I'd have to go to the other islands and give you insight on those. And someday I'd like to, but it costs like $100 to fly to one of the islands and then $100 to fly back. And so that's $200 for a trip that I don't have at the moment. Still moving into places. But just remember that if you're white or a non-islander, you're going to be in a minority, and you may experience a little bit of, hey, what are you doing on our islands kind of vibe from some people. But you won't get that on Oahu because it's very touristy here. If you go to one of the big island, if you go to the big island, or if you go to Kauai or Molokai, I hear that they are a bit more against having non-natives there. Because my wife's half Chinese and she grew up here and she still got it when she was in school. She was still called a haole, even though she was born here. Even if your family's been here for a few generations, they still consider you outsiders. So just remember that. I have not, since I've been here, encountered any kind of racism towards me. I haven't seen any towards anybody, actually, because, Honolulu, it's, like I said, it's metropolitan. It's cosmopolitan in the area. So this is like a mix of everybody from everywhere, and I haven't felt it. So I've felt pretty welcome by everybody, which is kind of awesome. I mean, I heard there was racism here, but I haven't felt it yet. I don't know how I'm going to deal with it if I do. Anyway, to any native islanders that are living here, I'm not your typical haole. I love these islands. I'll look after them. I'm not going to damage the wildlife or pollute or anything. This is what's another thing. When you come here, respect the land and respect the people. That's all you got to do. Really, respect each other and your environment. Don't pollute. Don't toss your cigarette butt on the ground. Don't throw your garbage on the ground. Pick it up. Put it in the trash can. Don't touch the sea turtles. Ever. Let me tell you that right now. You go out snorkeling, there's signs that say don't touch the sea turtles, it's illegal. Let me tell you why. There's bacteria on your hands, and the sea turtles are sensitive to some of the bacteria and stuff that may be on your hands. So you touch them, you could infect them. They're very sensitive to it. It could kill them. Don't touch the sea turtles. More coffee. Another pro about living here, it is late December and the water is still warm enough to swim in. It's not warm, but it's warm enough. It's cool. It's one of those like when you get into a pool and the water's kind of chilly-ish, but not quite cold. So you dunk yourself in there to get used to the temperature, but it's not to the point where you need a wetsuit or anything to go into the water. So it's really, really nice. I went swimming yesterday, and it was pretty awesome, except for the part where I have to plug my nose, and my nose clips that I got didn't work. They just kind of kept popping off, so I just swam around for a bit and watched the surfers and watched the girls, because I'm a guy and that's what guys do. Well, most guys. So yeah, that's my experience living in Hawaii right now. Wish me luck. Today I'm going to go see another apartment from the locations people, and we'll see which one I want and whether or not I qualified, and I'll keep you posted. So this has been my video on my tips about living in Hawaii, moving to Hawaii, and the pros and cons of being here so far. I hope you enjoyed it.